Well, at this point, it's been handed over to the state police. So yes, we have handed over what we have to both the district attorney and to the investigators at the state police.
Do you think the city police at any point are going to wind up releasing any kind of a public report or summary of their findings?
I don't believe so. That's not something I've heard of at this point.
Have you talked with Police Chief Joseph Zukoski at all about this?
Oh, sure. We talk about, yes, this is something we talk about.
So it has
regularly.
been discussed.
Of course, yes. Because I certainly have asked many questions at many points in time to the chief and asked him to talk to detectives about the status. Sure.
So even though we haven't heard much from you or from the police in terms of public statements on this, I mean, this has been, you've been actively involved and actively interested since the first word
sure.
came out.
And I would say this. I mean, I want to make sure that when I talk about something that I know exactly what I'm talking about and I have all of the information to make an informed decision and or an informed statement. And this is not something that has really occurred in this specific situation. And so that's why there are so many people that simply just want to know what happened and want the facts and want the truth to come out. And I would be one of those individuals. I mean, no one should be afraid of the truth.
Do you sense there are some people with ulterior motives who have gotten involved in this?
Well, I think it's pretty obvious that's the case. You know, I would say without question.
Well, what about progressive leaders of tomorrow? Have you had conversations with members or leaders of progressive leaders of tomorrow on this?
No, I have not. I mean, as you know, this is a group with a long history. I think, they haven't been around for a long period of time, but they have a history of trying to inject themselves into different events. The most recent one involved the incident with the YWCA, accusations of brutality and racism and excessive force that the YWCA ultimately had to provide a public apology to the City of Binghamton, the police department, because those allegations were not true. But
what did you make? They put out on one of their statements on their Facebook page before the rally that was held outside East Middle School, encouraging people who went to the rally, which happened during a snowstorm, you can help us by filming the police, in all caps. We have a direct line to several major news outlets who will broadcast footage if police get out of hand. Film their every move, especially their interactions with people of color. What do you make from a statement that Progressive Leaders of Tomorrow posted on its Facebook page?
Well, if you've ever looked at their Facebook page, which it looks like you are right now, you can see that they're an anti-law enforcement organization. They condone violence against police. They celebrate when members of law enforcement across the nation are killed or injured. And with regards to this specific incident, many of the protesters, as part of the event, moved from the sidewalk into the street with an attempt to disrupt traffic. And the police were concerned about the safety of the protesters because, remember, it was very snowy, it was very icy. So they actually blocked the street so the protesters could conduct their event in safety. It was an issue of safety and protection. And, of course, this is, the sort of comments that are levied against them. But, no, I think that, generally speaking...
Was there concern on the part of Chief Zukoski and the other police supervisors that some of the people affiliated with this group were actually trying to potentially maybe set the police up to get something recorded on video that... and we've seen
Well, I think generally
video.
speaking, I don't think that there's a concern about that. That generally speaking, that's just a state of awareness. I mean, this is an organization that I think has really made some very disturbing, concerning, and disgusting comments about members of local law enforcement and about police officers in general. And it's a well-known fact that they're an anti-law enforcement organization. And, it appears that it's a group that's in search of an incident to promote narratives or false narratives. And When those incidents don't exist, they either make them up or manipulate incidents that are currently in place. Now, that's a general statement.
Does this mean local police officers have to be wary or extremely vigilant about even approaching people in what typically might be viewed as routine calls, routine situations, that somebody with a cell phone camera is going to be there recording something that could then ultimately be taken out of context and posted on Twitter or Facebook to give a misimpression about what happened?
I think that's just part of the state of law enforcement in general across the nation at this specific point in time. Just because, I also want to make very clear that, any kind of, you were asking me about this organization, that has absolutely nothing to do with whether or not there's validity to accusations involving the school district. And I want to make very clear on that because, we don't have any information about that. Those two are not tied together, and I want to be clear on that.